have arrived at the Wynn / Encore Casino. It's 4 o'clock. Late reg is till 4:20. Plays it. So we're gonna max late reg and come in with, I believe, 12 big blinds for $550. You might say, Boski, that's a horrible deal. Well, tournament pokers are weird. ICM is a thing. Proximity to your min cash, risk of ruin, 1 bullet maximum. Feels good to be back. Let's run good and win our first all in. We need to. Sit down with 10 minutes left in late reg. Take our seat. We're immediately in the big blind. 600, 1200, 1200. We have 20K. Folds to the button who quickly jams exactly 12,000. Couldn't wait to get it in there. Usually not indicative of a premium, but a hand that's an automatic jam. Ace-X, suited broadways, mid pairs. When the small blind folds and it's back to me in the big blind, I look down at King Jack off. And gotta set the tone right away. Will it be our day? We put in the call, and he shows us Ace 10, classic 60-40, and we have video.
Good work.
32,000 chips, 1 bullet, coming back to 1,000, 1,500, 1,500, I believe. Let's get to this final table and get that trophy. This may seem obvious, but it just really hit me this series that my mood directly correlates with my chip stack and recent amount of pots won. Of course, that seems normal, but mine's a little more extreme. I get too low, I get in a rut. When I lose 4 or 5 pots in a row, and it's hard for me to recover. Might make some errors, might not play my A game when things are going poorly. So I gotta focus on that, make the best of it, not become a negative Ned or negative Nancy, and enjoy the good times. Really appreciate the pots I win. With blinds at 1,000, 1,500, 1,500, action folds to a guy that's just tilting his brains off, and he min raises to 3,000. Asian male, aged 21 to 22, goes deep into the tank with his 35K stack, and eventually shoves it all in, just over 20 bigs. Folds to me in the big blind, and I have ace queen offsuit. How light is the shover rejamming? I think pretty damn light. This guy has already raised called with a lot of marginal holdings, getting value very wide here, and I think ace queen is ahead of his value range, so we're all in. 26-5. Original raiser who has 50,000 chips snap calls. He has jack 10 offsuit. 3-better has ace jack offsuit, and we got double domination going on. Let's hold.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Hold. Ace is good. Ace is good. 26-5. With blinds at 1,000, 2,000, action folds to the same 21 to 20-year-old Asian male who quickly jams all in, mostly all in. 15,000 of his 20,000 in the middle. We call from the small blind with ace jack offsuit. Big blind folds, and we're all in on the flop against queen jack of diamonds. It's all bricks. And we get the elimination, adding a 25K to our stack. We're now over 100,000. Blinds at 1,000, 2,000, 2,000 big blind ante. Under the gun opens to 4,000. He has about 80,000 in his stack. I'm on the button with 120,000 and pocket tens. 3-betting seems fun, but we do have to respect the under the gun range, and that range includes pairs higher than ours. So we flat call the button with pocket tens. The small blind calls, and the big blind says 2 words, and they are all in for 34,000. Under the gun tank folds what I believe is pocket 8s. We put in the call, and we're heads up against ace king offsuit, a great situation. 57% to eliminate this player and scoop this 80,000 chip pot. Luckily, we got video.
Oh my god.
Good hand. With the 2,500 big blind, folds me in middle position. I have about 100,000 in my stack and a 6-7 of spades, a premium. We make it 5,500 to go, and action folds to the big blind who puts in the call. He started this hand with 60,000. Let's see a flop. Flop comes jack, 4, 3, 2 spades. We do not have the straight flush draw, but we do have a combo draw, and out of left field, he bets 15,000 into us. What do you do with 7 high facing this bet? I don't think we can fold. If we call and he jams the turn and we're not improved, can we call it off? A lot of times people lead in these spots with top pair bad kicker or middle pair to find out where they're at. Well, I'm going to show him where he's at. I'm all in. We have him covered. He has 40,000 behind. Goes deep into the tank. I'm doing my best to convey strength, but he eventually calls, and we're going to need some help against ace jack of hearts. Turns a brick, and we got video again. Check out this river. Classic race. Who's going to get lucky? Spades left. Spades. Win a few more small pots before we go on dinner break with a 210,000 chip stack. Coming back to 2,000, 4,000, over 50 blinds. Rapidly approaching the money, 53 pay, 80 remain. This is when tournament poker's fun. You got a stack to play with, and you're getting close to that money bubble. Let's find some good spots and really accumulate. Get that dopamine rush. We made the money, 53 remain, final table incoming. The very last hand before break, opened 18,000 at 4-8, 44 players remain, pocket nines, folds to the button who makes it 47,000. Pretty small 3-bet sizing. He has about 400,000 to start. I have 210. Could call, could fold, could jam all in. This time I'm gonna go with the YOLO. I'm all in, I'm putting you on ace 5 suited. He asks for a count and quickly calls. This is probably not good until he shows pocket sevens. Let's hold. Oh, nice. Big hole. Big hole. Down, we got the birds. And we have made the money. $1,100 locked up, in for $550. Much better experience at the Wynn and the World Series already. It's a one-day event. There is a trophy. I like Wynn trophies. Let's get a trophy. With blinds at 6,000, 12,000, we're under the gun with ace-6 of clubs. We haven't played a hand in a while, so I opened to 25,000. Folds around to the small blind, who quickly shoves all in for 120,000, 10 bigs. Folds back to me. What do you do with ace-6 suited, having my opponent covered with about 400,000 chips in my stack? Do we gamble, or do we make the disciplined fold? What hands do we beat? Let's think about the pot odds against hands that beat us. We're likely 30% against the majority of his range. But he should respect my under the gun open, so we fold ace-6 suited. We'll call this guy player X. With blinds at 10,000, 15,000, 15,000, middle position opens to 30,000 off a 250K stack. Player X shoves all in for 300,000, 20 bigs. Folds me in the small blind, and I have ace queen offsuit and 650,000. So it would be about half our stack to call it off here. Is ace queen good versus these two ranges? Feels close. Feels pretty close, man. About 25 players remain. And we put in the discipline fold. Everybody else folds, and player X takes down the pot. Oh, you thought I was going to call it off just because I have the hand history? With blinds at 10,000, 20,000, we have about 700,000 in our stack. And ace king suited, I believe you're 7-handed. Raised up to 45,000. Big blind defense. Flop comes 8, 8, 7. 2 clubs. We got those spades. Great time to check it back. Ace high has good showdown value. Let's play some runouts. Turns an offsuit deuce. Our hand still stands to be pretty good, and my opponent bets a pretty large sizing, 75,000. What's he repping? I kind of like the bigger sizing because it kind of polarizes his hand strength to 8x, maybe some 7x. Some draws, 9, 10, jack 9, flush draws. We do not block any of the club draws. So we put in the call. The river's an offsuit 5, a brick. All obvious draws missed, and within 5 seconds, he shoves all in for 265,000. So I go deep into the tank. I actually like his quick, big jam. It makes you look more polarized, and we like that. Bluff or nuts. Ace high is good versus bluff or nuts. We don't want to see some merge value shove with a 7x or something. Problem is he puts us on ace high. Now it's a big metagame decision. The clock is called on me. I might be in the tank for 5 minutes. With 5 seconds left, I put in the call, ace high, 750K pot, and he shows 2 clubs, the 6 and the 9. Nice river. Read him right on the turn, read him wrong on the river. And we're down to about 300,000 chips. We get a re-steal through the very next hand with king queen, and we got 13 blinds with 19 people remaining. assumptions need to be made. These assumptions are that he would not bet pot on the river with 2 pair of combos, only with straights and trips and a few boats. We have the best hand to bluff catch with. We don't have clubs and we don't block any of the missed straight draws. There's even the rare chance that he's trying to get us off ace king with a hand like ace jack or ace 10. Polarized timing, polarized sizing. Let's ask Ben CB what he would do in this situation.
Pretty ugly decision here for Jeff Boski on the river. Let's go through the hand from pre-flop. We open raise, big blind calls with his rough 20 big blinds, and the board is 8-7-7, which is not a great board for our range. We have whiffed a lot of the times with our king jack, king queens, king tens, etc. that don't connect with this board. So in theory, definitely want to be having some checks just because he can just check jam so many draws, so many 7x and 8x against us, and then we would have to fold a lot of our overcards. So in theory, but in practice, I would just go ahead and bet, especially in live games where people are not so aggressive. If he has something like ace-6 in diamonds, ace-9 in diamonds, which would be a reasonable hand to raise with, or the jack-9, jack-10s, people just usually call it, especially when their tournament life might be at risk on later streets when we cover them. So this is a spot where, in theory, it's advised to be also checking those kind of hands a decent amount of the time, but in practice, you can just comfortably c-bet everything, and you also avoid these nasty guessing games on later streets that we will see here later. So I would just go ahead and bet. Of course, if you know you're playing against an aggressive opponent, checking is definitely the way to go. But aperitif forward in live games, 100, 200, 500, even $1,000 and $2,000 tournaments against an unknown, I would just go ahead and c-bet. Turn is a deuce. We can definitely call once. We're still ahead against a bunch of draws. So we call once. River is the 5, and this is where I would always advise to fold here on such a card because the 6-9s get there, the 6-5. I don't think even this, maybe the 6-5 could even value jam because we just have so many ace-kings and ace-queens in our range. 10-9s, jack-10s, jack-9s, etc. really need to bluff a lot pretty much every single time in order for us to make it a profitable call. So he still have all the 7x, he has all the 6-9s. Yeah, not sure if he's going all in with his busted flush draws. I doubt it, especially the better ones. He blocks a lot of our folds. So this is where the main bluffs are coming from, 10-9, jack-10 type of hands. And I would believe that he really needs to bluff them 80-90% frequency in order for us to make it a profitable call, or even 70%, because he has 7-4 suited, queen 7 off, ace 7, 7-3 suited, 7-9 off, 7-6 off, and that's a lot of combos, right? And he can value jam any 8 here. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we have an ace-8 type of hand. He can easily, comfortably value jam against that. So against the average player in a live field, I would definitely fold because I do not expect that the average opponent is going to be bluffing 60-70% of the time with the 10-9s, jack-10s, jack-9s in order to make it a somewhat legitimate hero call. So I believe people then start just checking it, giving it up, protecting the turn life. You know how it is in live games. People just always have it. And yeah, I would stick to that. Hero folding trumps hero calling. And I don't think this is a good spot. If the river is a 3 or a blank, like not a 5, not a 6, not a 9, and not a 10, we could definitely argue for hero calling because then he can just have way more bluffs. But on this 5, where also a lot of his straights get there, I would just fold. And Jeff decided to call, and the opponent had 6-9, which is of course very unfortunate.
What three?
Good luck, guys.
Come back to 15 or 25 blind.
17 players remain. When it folds me in the small blind with queen 5 of hearts. It's probably a shove, but pretty marginal. So this is live poker, so I limp, and the button checks behind after some thought. Flop comes 8 deuce deuce, 2 hearts, pretty good flop for our range. Odds are they're gonna miss. We bet small, 25,000, and my opponent thinks about it and raises to 70,000. What hands would they raise here? Flush draws, deuces, 8s. Could they just be repping a deuce? Putting the pressure on 2 wide ranges. I'm not buying what they're selling, and we're gonna take the aggressive route on this. Holding queen 5 of hearts, we're all in, and my opponent says, really? I put the chips in the middle, and they call with king 8 offsuit. We're probably 40% to win. Let's get there. Good call. And Wynn. We are out of the Wynn/Encore $550 tournament. 500 players. We got 17th for $2,500 after tip. Almost a 2K profit. Not bad, but it's not easy to get this deep. You got to really make it count, and I did not. A controversial ace-high call probably cost me. But you got to think about the other side. When I'm right, and I'm sitting on over 1 million chips, as the final table bubble approaches, we're putting ourselves in a great position to win. So I guessed, and I guessed wrong, but I made a lot of good decisions to get to this point, and that's going to do it. Like, subscribe, definitely comment below, and I'm out.